Reverend Kenneth Blanchard will be our next presenter. He's a United States Marine Corps veteran and pastor of a Baptist congregation here in Washington, D.C. He has been a gun rights activist since 1991. Blanchard was one of the first African-American firearms instructors in the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Reverend Kenn, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everybody. In honor of Black history, I want to introduce you to two people you might not know. One is my grandmother, and the other is my mother. Mary, both named Mary. Mary from Tidewater, Virginia, was my first instructor in firearms. My grandmother had a loaded shotgun next to her wood-burning stove all my life. It was unlocked. It was secured only by, we knew about Grandma. If we wanted to mess with that shotgun, we had to go through her. The shotgun did a couple of things. It secured the children, 30 of us, who we went there for refuge. My grandmother was the place where you'd go when your family wasn't doing too well or summer vacation. It wasn't much to the house. It was the love that was in it. Grandma taught us a lot. She was the mother of her church. She prepared communion on Sunday. She was that mother. But she also had that shotgun. And I remember once when there was a strange pickup truck early in the morning that showed up at the house, and all the kids say, "Grandma, there's a couple of white guys coming out of the pickup truck." And Grandma grabs the shotgun. She moves to the screen door, and she says, "Good morning." They said, "Good morning, Miss Mary. We just passed into your land, and we wanted to make sure that we gave you some deer on our way back. And is that okay?" And I watched these men who I didn't know respect this little old lady from the rural parts of Tidewater, who also I could see in their eyes. They saw when she moved to the right that she had something in her hand. And I thought, that made a difference in my life, that you can talk the talk, but you're going to have to walk the walk sometimes. And I learned as a Marine that sometimes you don't have to fire a shot. You just have to carry yourself the right way. And I learned that lesson when I got into the city. And my mother said, we were country at one time, but now we got to kind of work in the system. And we don't hunt here in the city. And they talk about guns. And I had to remind my mother, we got the same mom. Remember the shotgun? And she said, "Oh, yeah." So later in life, when I became a firearms instructor and I became a protector, it was not by my own doing. I just kind of kept getting in that same mode over and over again. I've been everything from a safety guard, a safety patrol, a lifeguard. If it had a guard on the back of it, I've done it, bodyguard. And then the ultimate is one time I actually stood outside the bedroom of President Reagan. I protected families. I've been the guy who's carried a gun most of his life. And then when I got into clergy, they said, "You know what? You're really different from us." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm just a shepherd." A shepherd would defend his flock. A shepherd would go into harm's way. And then I became the shepherd of hunters and the shepherd of fishermen and the shepherd of those who usually don't come to church. I'm a big evangelist. I will go to where the people are. And they said, "I'm glad you're here. Help us understand how the world's making us seem like bad guys." I said, as the hunter, you have a special spot in the world. You're conserving things. You're making the whole ecosystem work. But if you look at the news, we're the bad guys. I said, only because they don't know. Or only because they're using the lack of responsibility and the lies. And also, the biggest thing is the false gods. We have a responsibility problem. Nobody wants to take responsibility for anything. And we want to make somebody else our God, which is the ultimate sin. When a politician steps forward and says, "I can save your children," you cannot save my child. When somebody believes that person has the right to do anything, they're stepping out of bounds. I'm honored to be here as yet another shepherd, to say, trust in the only true God. He is the provider of your safety. He who taught David, who trains his hands for war. For there's a time and a place for everything. And we have to make sure that we don't give too much power to those who really have none. Politicians are not the gods. Take them off the pedestal. Take them out of the positions that we have put them in. They can't fix your family. You have to fix your family. You have to take care of your child. You have to take care of your wife, your husband. It's your responsibility. What God gives you, you are a steward of. And sometimes you're going to have to go in harm's way. That's right. And you can't do it with just harsh words and empty promises. Thank you.
In the country. Nigel, thank you.